Hi everyone, it's Ashley at the Silver Bay Public Library, and I am back once again with a story time for you guys to enjoy. As I mentioned on Monday, this week our theme for our reading program is puppets, and since oftentimes, not always, puppets are animals or things like that, I have pulled a lot of fun stories about animals for us to read for today. Our first story being Undercover Ostrich by Joe Kulka. So, without much further ado, let us dive right in. And this ostrich is looking at us a little funny, I guess. I notice things. For example, I notice a lot of animals are super sneaky. A chameleon can change colors to stay hidden. Where did he go? Possums can pretend to be dead, even when they are not. Too tricky. But do you know who is the sneakiest of all? Undercover ostriches. They're everywhere. I've been keeping an eye on them. They are experts at blending into their surroundings. Can you see the ostrich? It is difficult because he is undercover. I'll give you a hint. He is in one of the bird baths. I know. Hard to find, right? It took me several hours to realize this was not a picture of two woodpeckers. Those ostriches must be up to something. Undercover ostriches can go undetected in broad daylight. Or in pale moonlight. See, you can't see them at all. Undercover ostriches can sneak by unseen in the country. And even in the city. Can you tell which one is an ostrich? I can't. An ostrich could be in your house right now and you would never know it. You might even mistake the ostrich for one of your pets. Mostly they hang out in the backyard. But what is that tricky ostrich trying to do? Aha! So this is why they go undercover, to steal food from squirrels. Wait a minute. Are those peanuts I see? Maybe I can get those peanuts if I become an undercover elephant. Oh my gosh. How strange. But that's the story of undercover ostriches. I guess they can be anywhere and you just never know it. Do you guys think you have any undercover ostriches in your house? Better go take a look. After we finish story time, of course. Our second story is going to be I Am a Bird by Dana Walrath and illustrated by Jamie Kim, who is a best-selling illustrator. Have fun. But when you do puppets, you pretend to be something. Your puppet is a dog or a cat. Maybe they're a person. So, I'm a bird. Let's learn. I am a bird. I fly. I'm a fly. I land. I am land. I stretch to the sea. I'm the sea. I crest. I'm a crest. I worn. I'm a worn old shoe in the sand. I'm a warm old shoe in the sand. I am sand. I stick. I'm a stick. I float. I'm afloat on a fisherman's line. I'm a line. I tug. I'm a tug. I tow. My toes get tickled by kelp. I am kelp. I branch. I'm a branch. I snap. I'm the snap of a crab's sharp claw. I'm a claw. I burrow. I'm a burrow. I warm my hands and my wings. Flap, fly, float high, snap, tickle, sway. I'm a bird. I glide into arms open wide. I'm the hands that hold and the eyes that shine. When it's you and it's me and the sea. And that's the story of I Am a Bird. Now that may not have made him a lot of sense, but he was imagining all these wonderful things. Which is what you do when you tell a story through puppets or something like that. Use your imagination. next story is Sealed with a Kiss. Look at the cute little seal. This one is by Beth Ferry and illustrated by Oliver Talek. Seal was new to the National Zoo, just in from a small zoo in France. "Allô, zoo," she called happily. "Oh, ma chérie, what friends we will be." She waited and waited to be welcomed, but no one came to meet her, to greet her, to shower her with kisses. Then one morning a small sparrow swooped by and gave Seal a perky peck on the cheek. Seal was tickled pink. "That is more like it," she said. "I must stop the waiting and start participating." With a smile on her face and a very smelly sardine in her mouth, Seal ventured forth. She waddled right up to Rhino, who sneezed and snorted and sniffed and snorted and sneezed. "Pee-hoo!" She smooched Panda. "Ew!" She bussed the baboons. "Blech, blech, fish breath." Seal merrily continued on. She kissed Kangaroo, cuddled Kookaburra, canoodled Caribou. "We've been slobbered," Kangaroo cried. "Contaminated," Kookaburra said. "With squishy, fishy kisses," Caribou added. The besmooched creatures bemoaned their fate, scrubbed their faces, scoured away the kisses and the fishy smell. "I've been smackereled," Giraffe cried. "I've been coddled," Koala moaned. Seal was oblivious to the collection of groaning, grumbling, gagging animals she left in her wake. "This is the way. I make the many friends," she smiled. "Wee wee." Then she kissed Snow Leopard. Snow Leopard didn't groan or grumble. He didn't gag. Instead, he growled. "You stink!" Seal turned and saw the moaning menagerie behind her. "Everyone thinks I do not smell the zeros." "Everyone thinks I do not smell like zeros," she realized. "They think I stink." She blushed scarlet, turned a sickly shade of green, and was left feeling nothing but blue. Sparrow flew in a fluster toward the animals. "That is no way to treat a new friend," she said. "Don't you remember when you were new?" "I do," whispered Koala. "Me too," said Giraffe. "She's right," said Rhino. "We're buffoons," said the baboons. They decided on a plan. "We will write a poem," Panda declared. "And send goodies," Koala said. "And say sorry," Snow Leopard added. They left their gift by the water's edge. Seal slowly surfaced. She read, "Dear friend, we sealed this with a lick because our kisses wouldn't stick. And ourselves we want to kick because we're really all heart sick. We hope this does the trick. Please forgive us pretty quick. Signed, your new zoo friends." Seal sighed and sniffed, then blubbered with happiness. "The rhyme is sublime and I cannot resist the peppermint shrimp." As Seal gobbled up the shrimp, her heavy heart lightened. She knew exactly how she would say thank you. With a smile on her face and a peppermint shrimp in her mouth, she blew kisses to all the animals, who blew right past Sparrow, right past the gates, and directly into Seal's pool. They covered her with kisses, pecks, smooches, and smackaroos. "Now that is more like it," she said, "because some things, some special things, like forgiveness and friendship, must be sealed with a kiss. And served with a side of shrimp. Wee wee." And that is the story of Sealed with a Kiss. I think it was really quite cute how they all became friends, though make sure you don't go around kissing people. That's a little strange. But forgiveness is important. So, our next fun little furry friend book is going to be Princess Puffbottom and Daryl by Susan Nielsen and Olivia Chin Mueller. So Princess Puffbottom and Daryl. Princess Puffbottom had the perfect life. Her subjects served her delicious meals. If they were late, she gave them a firm but gentle reminder. They also took care of more delicate matters, like cleaning the litter box. In In return, Princess Puffbottom permitted some petting, and she humored them once in a while. Life was good. Until the day that Daryl arrived. Daryl's the dog. He was horrible. He was disgusting. He was an animal. Princess Puffbottom knew he would not last. Daryl would be banished. It was only a matter of time. So she waited and waited and waited. Finally, the day arrived. Her subjects left with Daryl, and they were gone for a very long time. Princess Puffbottom celebrated. She knew that they were taking him to a faraway kingdom. Her subjects eventually returned with Daryl. Princess Puffbottom was not amused. Princess Puffbottom knew that something had to be done. Nothing worked. Oh, wait. I missed a page. She tried hypnosis. She tried trickery. She tried sabotage. Nothing worked. Daryl was here to stay. Princess Puffbottom was sad. Nobody seemed to notice, except Daryl. He was very annoying. He followed her everywhere. Daryl was not bright. Daryl was not sophisticated. Got into the garbage. But he had his uses. Daryl helped her, Princess Puffbottom, eat the garbage. And Daryl worshipped her. He put her on a pedestal. So Princess Puffbottom tolerated Daryl. Most of the time. Life was good again. At least her subjects wouldn't be bringing home any more surprises. Except it looks like they brought home a baby. But that was the story of Princess Puffbottom and Daryl. Good thing they eventually got along. Our last story is going to be another one about a dog and a cat. This one is Phillippe and Claudette by Mark Teague. Though, I'm not really sure which one is Phillippe and which one is Claudette. It looks like the puppy is Claudette, and this would be Phillippe. So, let's find out what they're doing, what they're up to. On adoption day, all the pets at the animal shelter lined up for inspection. "It's time," said Miss Barrett, the director, "for us to look our best." Then, one by one, they were adopted, until only 2 pets remained, Phillippe and Claudette. "What will I do with you?" fretted Miss Barrett. We'll say Barrett. Usually her pets were adopted quickly, but not these 2. They had been at the shelter for ages. The problem, in Philippe's opinion, was Claudette. "You will never be adopted," he told the dog, "because you are constantly barking." "What?" Claudette barked. What? To be fair, Claudette did not always bark. Sometimes she tore the stuffing from her toys. Sometimes she ran in circles. Sometimes she bounced against the walls. She drove Phillippe crazy. "Please," he said, "I am trying to think." He was trying to think about his future home. Perhaps it would be a beautiful country estate, where he might lounge beside a pool, or maybe a penthouse apartment where he would eat sardines from a dainty bowl. Claudette belched, and the dream faded. "No," said Phillippe, when she brought him her ball. "I will not throw your little ball. It is covered in spittle. Anyways, cats do not throw." More puppies came to the shelter, then more kittens. Soon it was adoption day again. "Time to look our best," cried Miss Barrett. They did, and they were all adopted. All except Phillippe and Claudette. "What will I do with you 2? worried Miss Barrett. Phillippe thought she would worry about Claudette. "You will never be adopted," he told the dog, "because you snore when you are wide awake." "Snork?" snorted Claudette. "Snork, snork, snork?" To be fair, Claudette did not always snore. Sometimes she dug holes in the yard, chased moths, and sometimes she rolled in the garbage. She drove Phillippe mad. It would be difficult for either of them to be adopted when Claudette made such a poor impression. She brought him a toy. "No, I will not play tug-of-war," said Phillippe. "Cats do not tug." More kittens came to the shelter, then more puppies. Adoption day arrived again. Phillippe groomed his fur and straightened his whiskers. Claudette wagged her tail. One by one the pets were adopted, all except Phillippe and Claudette. "Dear, dear," said Miss Barrett, "what will I do with you two?" It was clear to Phillippe that Claudette was the problem. "You will never be adopted," he said, "as long as you have dried dog food stuck in your nose." "Slurp?" said Claudette, licking her nose. "Slurp, slurp, slurp." To be fair, Claudette did not always have dried dog food stuck to her nose. Sometimes she had branches stuck to her collar, or leaves stuck to her paws, and sometimes her whole body was even covered with mud. She drove Phillippe insane. What could he do with a dog like her? She wagged her tail hopefully. "No, I will not play hide and seek," said Phillippe. "I do not wish to be it. Anyways, it is perfectly obvious where you are hiding." Another adoption day came and went. So did the puppies, and so did the kitties. As usual, only Phillippe and Claudette remained. Miss Barrett was closing the shelter when a gentleman had arrived. "I wish to adopt a pet," he said. Phillippe sat up straight. We only have the two," said Miss Barrett. "Phillippe is quite quiet, but a bit grumpy." "And the dog?" asked the man. "Claudette barks and chews and digs holes in the yard." "Anything else?" "She runs in circles and rolls in garbage and snores when she is wide awake." "Fine," said the gentleman. "I'll take her." And he did. Phillippe was stunned. Who in their right mind would adopt Claudette? "You miss her, don't you?" said Miss Barrett. "Certainly not," thought Phillippe. He waited for the next adoption day, and he waited and waited. Time passed slowly. The animal shelter seemed very quiet. He stared at Claudette's toys and her ball and her empty bowl. "I'm sure she's fine," said Miss Barrett. Phillippe sighed. Adoption day came. The puppies went. So did the kittens. Phillippe hid in the back room. After a while, Miss Barrett joined him. She was closing the shelter when the gentleman returned with Claudette. "I am bringing her back," he said. "She's not the dog I thought she was. She doesn't play or chew or run in circles. She doesn't even bark. All she does is mope." As soon as he left, Claudette began to bark. She licked Miss Barrett. She chased Phillippe around the room. "What will I do with you two?" said Miss Barrett, but really it was obvious. She adopted them. For dinner, she fed them sardines and dainty bowls. Afterward, they played hide and seek. Phillippe was happy to be it. And that's the story of Phillippe and Claudette, who did eventually get adopted. But they got adopted together because they were such good friends. And I think that is just so adorable. But thank you all so much for listening to these stories again. Make sure to check back on Friday. We probably won't be reading more animal stories on Friday, but we will have some fun other stories for you guys to listen to. And then make sure to check back again next week, of course. So thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to come into the library and check out some fun books to read. And yeah, bye-bye.